Hello, my name is John York, and today I'm going to explain to you how beer was invented. No, not bear, beer. You know, the one we drink at cafe terraces? Beer is the most produced and consumed alcoholic beverage in the world, with a global beer production of approximately 1.82 billion hectolitres in 2020. It was worth a special broadcast. Welcome to Food History Pills. Beer was not invented in Germany in the Middle Ages, as is commonly believed. Its origins trace back to ancient times and different civilizations across the world. Let's talk about some key civilizations involved in the foundation of beer as we know it today. Mesopotamia. The earliest evidence of beer production dates back to around 5000 BCE in ancient Mesopotamia, which is present-day Iraq. Sumerians, one of the earliest civilizations, were brewing beer using barley. Babylon. Babylonians produced over 20 different types of beer around 3000 BCE. Beer was also considered divine in Babylon, a true gift from the gods. It was also a sign of wealth. The Code of Hammurabi, the most ancient set of laws to date, decreed a daily beer ration to citizens. And by the way, one of these laws said that those who dared to dilute beer with water had to be sentenced to capital punishment. Strict, but for beer lovers, fair. Every citizen had his daily dose of beer, depending on his wealth. The drink was so respected that people were sometimes paid for work in beer instead of money. There was no way of filtering beer back then, so their beer was pretty thick, like porridge, and hard to drink. To avoid this problem, ancient Babylonians were the first known population to use straws for drinking a beverage. Ancient Egypt. Beer played a significant role in ancient Egyptian culture. The Egyptians brewed beer as early as 4000 BCE. They considered it a staple food and an essential part of religious ceremonies. Egyptians were excellent brewers, and they were constantly working on the taste of beer step by step so that it would be less bitter and taste better. The most popular beer in Egypt was heket or hekt. This was a honey-flavored brew, and their general word for beer was zaitum. Beer was often used throughout Egypt as compensation for labor. The workers at the Giza Plateau received beer rations 3 times a day, and workers on the Nile were often paid for their work in beer. Archaeologists have even found beer buried in the tombs of the pharaohs, so they could enjoy the taste of this delicious beverage in the afterlife. Ancient Greece and Rome. How did beer migrate to Europe and become popular around that continent? The Greeks and Romans. Beer brewing techniques made its way from Egypt to Greece, as we know from the Greek word for beer, zythos, from the Egyptian zaitum, but was not a huge hit right away. At this time, wine was so popular that it was the drink considered a gift from the gods. Therefore, beer was considered a barbaric drink and only fit for lower classes to imbibe. Even so, the Romans were brewing beer, called cerevisia, quite early, as evidenced by discoveries in the tomb of a beer brewer and merchant, Acerba Sirius, in ancient Treveris, modern-day Trier. Beer was one of the most common drinks on the outskirts of the empire, and the legions of Rome brought beer to northern Europe. Roman soldiers could enjoy a refreshing cup of beer on their long journeys. Ancient China. Beer-like beverages made from rice were produced in ancient China around 7000 to 6000 BCE. These early Chinese beers were likely similar to the modern-day rice-based fermented beverages like sake. Ancient India. The ancient Indian civilization also had a long history of brewing. The Rig Veda, a sacred text of Hinduism, mentions a beverage called sura, made from fermented grains, which is believed to be a precursor to beer. Ancient Americas. Native American civilizations such as the Incas, Mayas, and Aztecs had their own fermented beverages made from ingredients like corn and agave. These beverages were not exactly beer as we know it, but they played a similar role. So beer has evolved and developed independently in various religions throughout history, while Germany has made significant contributions to brewing traditions and beer styles. It is not the birthplace of beer. The origins of beer are truly global, rooted in the ancient civilizations that discovered the fermentation process and harnessed it to create the beloved beverage. There you have it, it's over! If you enjoyed this show, feel free to like it, and even better, subscribe to History Food channel to follow the upcoming episodes. See you soon, and above all, don't forget, eating is a privilege. Enjoy it. Bye. Ooh.